And we're back with a different tree. So at the end of stanza 6, what we see is that Keats has decided not to kill himself. Those beautiful words that he says that I've been half in love with easeful death, he decides to reject suicide, the same way that he decided to reject the wine, because he's going to turn to the world of art and the world of the ideal and the world of nature. In an ode to the Nightingale song is going to represent two things. It's going to represent nature, of course, because the nightingale is a natural creature. But the Nightingale song also will represent art. And you'll see this theme over and over in Keats's poetry, notably, of course, in Grecian Urn. In stanza 7, Keats addresses the bird in an apostrophe. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. No hungry generations tread thee down. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Perhaps the self-same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth when, sick for home, she stood in tears amid the alien corn. The same that ofttimes hath charmed magic casements, opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairylands forlorn. So what Keats is doing is connecting the song of the Nightingale with this sort of continuum of art throughout the generations. And he says that the bird, the nightingale, could say, the nightingale is connected with something that is immortal. He suggests that maybe this nightingale song was heard by an emperor and a clown from past years, from ancient times. Not this particular nightingale, but the idea that maybe even Ruth, if you remember the story of Ruth from the Bible, remember she married into a tribe outside of her own tribe and she had to follow her husband's family, and she was alone, and Keats is suggesting that maybe in her sorrow, maybe she stood amid the alien corn and she heard the song of a nightingale and it gave her comfort. And then he connects the song of the nightingale, of course, with this sort of magical kind of image, charmed magic casements opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairylands forlorn. Now, the last stanza is a sort of a mystical kind of dream-like image. He says, forlorn, the very word is like a bell to toll me back from thee to my soul self. Adieu. The fancy cannot cheat so well as she is fain to do, deceiving elf. Adieu, adieu. Thy plaintive anthem fades, past the near meadows, over the still stream, up the hillside, and now 'tis buried deep in the next valley glades. Was it a vision or a waking dream? Fled is that music. Do I wake or sleep? And so we don't know if this was a dream. We don't know if he, even heard the nightingale or if he dreamed this, but it doesn't really matter. The idea that I think at the end of the poem, Keats has provided us with some comfort. Keats has found comfort, and so he's giving this emblem of the nightingale. It's an emblem of art, it's an emblem of nature, it's an emblem that the reality of life sometimes, does not stay. The ideal will remain. And in Keats' Ode to a Nightingale, Keats answers that important question. How do you get yourself out of sorrow? How do you find comfort when you're depressed? And he gives us an answer. And he says that you get out of that depression through nature and through art and through the appreciation and comfort that they bring. And if you get that answer, that's a pretty important poem that can do that for us. Hope you've enjoyed Ode to a Nightingale.